That was the beginning of my fascination for anesthesia. We had an operating room next to the delivery room where obstetric residents who had passed through the department of anesthesia were the ones giving anesthesia to our obstetrical patients. At this point, I was overwhelmed by the need to have mothers in labor undergoing the process to perpetuate the human race without suffering uselessly at the same time, protecting both mother and baby from any unnecessary risk. It was therefore exciting for me to accept an offer for residency position in anesthesia in the United States, which I realized would complete my training in obstetrics to give mothers in labor the best and safest care during the birthing process. But this was not the beginning. After training in anesthesia in Cleveland, where my beloved, famous, and beautiful wife, Dr. Perla Santos Campo, was in the fellowship program at the Western Reserve University Medical School, we came out to Manila. Without delaying behind me, his allies, Miss Amy Barnes. We had no children at that time. All our 3 children, all doctors, were in America. And now, here with me is the son of my son, my son. His name is Carlo Marcos Santos Campo. It is not the same as my name, because his first name is divided into 2. He is a graduate in finance from Notre Dame University in Indiana, USA. He is here as a professional golfer. And here in Manila, I had to choose between being an obstetrician or with the anesthesiologist. It was a difficult choice. You all know by now what my choice was. And there have never been any regrets. The choice gave me the opportunity to utilize my technical skills in addition to my academic knowledge. I introduced the use of Gates 25 and 26 spinal cables, which were not yet available at that time. But I brought home Gates 25 and 26. As you can see in this slide, you can see 4 spinal needles, Gates 22, 23, 25, and 26. Before I left for this stage, I was adept in using Gates 22 and 23. In the US, I learned to use the Gates 25 and 26 without an introducer, which resulted in fewer incidents of post-spinal headache, plus satisfaction in our patients. There were other precious instances where my perspective came useful. Later in my practice, I also started the use of the flexible fiber optic laryngoscope to be used for difficult or otherwise impossible intubate patients. I got this flexible fiber optic instrument in America to help me intubate difficult or otherwise impossible to intubate patients with our rigid laryngoscopes. Before that, I was using the blind intubation, which is like a hit and miss method. This is an American optical laryngoscope. This is portable with a light carrier. Its weight is only 5 pounds, making it easy for you to carry from one hospital to the other. Patient safety in anesthesia was involved, or the butterfly of Dr. Ellison C. G. Hughes Jr., who was the chairman of anesthesiology at the Wood Hospital in Boston, and who was also an associate professor of anesthesia at Harvard Medical School. He became president of the American Society of Anesthesia in 1984, and as president of the ASA, he created a new ASA Committee on Safety and Risk Management to solve the problem of what was termed patient asthma. He pushed for the use of Harvard minimal monitoring standards. This was adopted in July 3, 1985. These standards were very strict in monitoring the circulation and ventilation of the patient. The implementation of these standards was to ensure that no patient shall be harmed by anesthesia. These standards were published in the Journal of American Medical Association in 1986 as special communication titled Standards for Patient Monitoring during anesthesia at Harvard Medical School. The at least 700 minimum monitoring standards as follows. Anesthesiologist or nurse anesthetist presence in the operating room throughout the conduct of general anesthesia, regional anesthesia, or monitor intravenous anesthesia. For those who are not aware, in the United States, there are nurse anesthetists. They have a well-organized society of nurse anesthetists, and they charge professional fees. Sometime in 1980, our society was being asked to train nurse anesthetists to be assigned in provinces where there are no certified anesthesiologists. Our society objected